Hi everyone and welcome to this beginner's Pilates class. This class is perfect if you are new to Pilates or you are just getting started again. And we're going to come into a supine position. So we're going to be on our back. I want you to gently roll onto your back. You can use your legs to roll down and then bend your knees in. And we're going to focus a little bit on the breath here because breath work is so important for Pilates and for strengthening your core. So just relax on the mat. I want you to bring your hands towards your ribs. And we're going to just focus on our breath. How are we breathing? Focus on your inhale and your exhale. Now the Pilates breath is you're going to inhale through your nose and then exhale through your mouth, through pursed lips. So take a nice big deep inhale. Feel the rib cage expand laterally and front and back, and then exhale. Drawing the ribs down. Inhale, relax, opening up the ribs. Exhale. You're drawing the ribs down towards the hips. Now take your hand in your fingers in a triangle position, and we're just going to place it over our hips and pubic bone. You can feel here that your pubic bone and hips are on the same plane. They're on the same level. We're going to inhale. Exhale. We're going to create a gentle contraction of the pelvic floor as we exhale and draw that transverse abdominis in like a corset. So really focus on that. Take an inhale. Expand the belly. Exhale, draw the belly button to spine, lifting up the pelvic floor, up and in. A gentle contraction. Inhale, relax. Exhale. Draw it in. So this is how we strengthen our core using this Pilates breath. So on your exhale, I want you to focus on drawing the ribs down towards the hips and drawing that corset in, that transverse abdominis, and lifting the pelvic floor slightly. We're going to come into our pelvic tilt. So keep that triangle on your hip bones and the pelvis bone, the pubic bone. And then we're just going to inhale. We're in a neutral spine. There might be a slight gap underneath your lower back and the mat. On our exhale, we're going to gently press that lower back in towards the mat. So this is just a gentle press. We are not clenching the glutes and we're not popping in the abs. So we're just shortening the obliques and then lengthening them again as we come into a neutral spine. So exhale, press that back gently in towards the mat. Inhale, come back to center, to a neutral spine. So you'll feel here as you press your lower back in that your pubic bone is a bit higher than your hip bones. And then as you bring them back to neutral, they'll be on the same plane again. Very good. Come to a neutral spine now. We're going to come into hip release. So this is really going to focus on your core as well. I want you to lower that right knee to the side. Make sure that when you lower it, you're not lifting up that left hip. Only go with your range of movement. So you want to keep the hips square. So if you need to feel your hip bones, you can do that. So don't lower it too far that you're opening up the hips and that you can't maintain that stability in the pelvis. So you're going to open up, slide your leg down on your inhale. Exhale, you're going to immediately rotate that leg and then lift it back up. So you're going into internal rotation. And then external rotation as you take it down. Exhale, circle it into internal rotation and then slide it up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Now think of that core contraction as you lift that leg back up. We're going to go into the opposite direction. So we're going to Internally rotate, sliding it down. Exhale. Rotate into external rotation, lifting it back up, coming back to center. So sliding that foot down. Exhale, rotate, lifting it back up. So really focus on that mind to muscle connection. Let's do one more on this side. Rotating, lifting back up. And then we're going to go into the other side. So we're dropping that left hip. Remember to keep that pelvic stability. Lengthening that leg, going into internal rotation, lifting it back up. The core is contracting. We're using those lower abs and we're keeping pelvic stability. Exhale, lift. Feel that core, draw that leg up. Inhale, lower, extending the leg. Exhale, lift it back up. Let's go in the other direction. So we're going to send it down. Externally rotate that leg. Lift it back up using that core. It's amazing what these small movements can do if you really focus on that core, that mind to muscle connection, and lifting with that core. So this is looks super easy, but if you really focus on that core connection, it can be super hard. Okay, so we're coming back up, bent knees, and then I want you to press the lower back to the mat. So we're coming into our imprint. We're going to exhale, lift that right leg to tabletop. Inhale, lower it back down. Then we go into the other side. Exhale, lift that left leg. Inhale, lower. So think of that core drawing that leg up to tabletop, and you're using the rib to hip connection to keep that core engaged. So exhale. Really use your breath here. It's very powerful. And then lower it back down. You'll feel the engagement much more if you use your breath, and keep your movement very slow. It's harder if it's slower. Exhale, lift it up. Keeping that core connection, the rib to hip, and the lower back pressed flat to the mat. And then we're going to level up. On your next one, I want you to lift the right leg and then lift the left leg. Lower it back down, lowering one leg at a time, and then alternate the leading leg each time. So focus on that back that's pressing flat to the mat, and we're using that core to lift the legs. It's hard, stabilizing work. This looks super easy, but we're really getting into the core. So exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. Whew. My body's starting to shake just from this. Okay. Let's go for another 2. Last one. Leave it up here. Okay, we're going to bring the knees in, and then you're going to extend the left leg. So hug that right knee in towards the chest, scooping in the abs, pressing the back down to the mat all the time. And then we're just going to alternate, bringing the knee in. So exhale as you bring that knee in. Inhale as you switch. If you want more of a challenge, come up into an ab curl, so that we get the upper abs as well as the lower abs. And then just now we're getting to the obliques. So really focus on scooping in the abs, keeping that belly button pressed in towards the spine, so that we're keeping that intra-abdominal pressure. We're not popping in the abs. We're keeping the ribs down towards the hips. Our gaze is towards our thighs. Extending the leg long. Okay, bring it back up to tabletop. Take the hands behind your head. And now we're just going to twist from side to side. So exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist towards the left. Getting into the obliques, into the upper abs. I just want to move my mic so that it's not making rubbing against my skin. Exhale, twist. Inhale, back to center. So bring that arm down towards the mat. Gaze is just past your thigh. As you twist, you should really be feeling this in the abs now. Okay. Let's go for another 2. Last one. Bring it in, hug it in. Bring the feet down on the mat. Take the arms overhead. Lift up into your ab core. Grab onto your legs, pull yourself up. Extend the spine. Now we're going to come into spine twist. So we can do this 2 ways. You can, depends on how tight your hip flexors are. We can either extend the legs, flexing the feet, or you can sit with your legs crossed. So do whatever feels comfortable for you. I'm going to extend my legs, lift up through the spine, take the arms out to the side, and then we're going to twist towards the right. 3 pulses. Come back to center, inhale, create length, exhale, twist, getting a little bit deeper on each pulse. Inhale, lengthen back to center, exhale. This reminds me of a sprinkler, this exercise. Getting deeper with each twist, flexing those feet. Really focus on that core. So the obliques are working here, contralateral obliques. Means opposite obliques, internal, external obliques. Let's do another 2, another one each side. Extend the spine, creating length, and then twist. Perfect. Come back to center, release the arms, roll out the shoulders, and then come down into a prone position on your tummies. We're going to come into some back extension exercises. So bring the feet together, and then the hands are going to be down by your shoulders in a W position if you're looking from above. You're going to rest that head on the mat. And then on your inhale, you're going to use those back muscles to lift you up. Coming into slight back extension. Your gaze is just forward to the front of the mat, so you're not hyperextending in the neck looking up. You're looking down towards the top edge of your mat. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Find that length using those back extensors. Exhale, lower. So that mind to muscle connection here is really going to help you feel that contraction. Using those back muscles to peel your head and chest off the mat. Let's go for another 2. Perfect. And then we're going to take it up a notch. So I want you to take your feet about mat distance apart. Slightly externally rotate the femur inside the hip joint so that your knees are facing outwards. And then we're going to come into swan dive. So we're going to lift up even further into extension. You're going to inhale, lift up, using those back muscles to lift you, extending the spine. Don't lock out at the elbows. Keep that bend. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, lift, using the back muscles. Feel the back muscles peel your chest and your ribs off the mat, keeping that core connection. So we're coming into extension, but we also want to bring that belly button towards the spine, lifting up. You should really feel the strength in your back as you do this. Inhale, lift. Those arms aren't working very hard. You're using the back mostly, but you will also feel it in the triceps. Let's do one more. Let's take it down. Press back to a shelf stretch, a counter stretch for the spine. Okay. You can come into a side bend and some side glute work, and then finish off with some glute max work. So I want you to come down onto your forearm. You can fold up your mat here for extra support. Make sure your knees are bent, feet are in line with the hips. You're going to rest your arm on your hip, and then we're coming into our side bend. So we're going to exhale, lift up and over. Arm comes overhead, and we're lifting those hips up towards the ceiling, feeling a contraction in those obliques. So we're coming into lateral flexion and lower back down. Exhale, lift, find that length, the nice lateral flexion of the spine, and then lower back down. Follow your breath, pushing up out of that shoulder, out of that side waist. Strong, slow, and controlled work. Okay, let's go for another 2. Pike those hips up. Last one. Hold here, feel that contraction, and then lower back down. Come all the way down. Make sure your body's in one straight long line. I want your hips to be square at all times. You're pushing that top hip down a bit so that there's a gap between your waist and the mat. Bring your hand down to the mat for support. Make sure your body is extended. Find your balance, and then we're going to lift and lower that top leg. So exhale to lift, inhale to lower. I want you to make sure that you're not lifting it too high, that you're opening up the hip. Keep the hips square, and you'll also keep your balance. Focusing on that core. The side glutes are lifting that leg up, creating length through that leg. Okay, we're going to get into the obliques a bit more. So let's do another 2, and then we'll come into our double leg lift. Last one, lower it back down. Glue the thighs together, and then we're going to lift both legs, lower back down. Exhale, lift, inhale, lower. So we're getting into the glute med, the glute min, and the obliques. Same side obliques, ipsilateral obliques. Okay, let's go for another 3, 2, last one. Lift, hold, and lower back down. Perfect. Come back up. We're going to switch to the other side. Fold up your mat. We're coming into our side bend. Bring the knees together, bent, feet together. Okay. Arm is resting on your hip. Your shoulder is above your elbow, in line with your elbow. Exhale, lift up, piking the hip up. Inhale, lower back down. Exhale, lift up and over, creating that beautiful rainbow shape, and then lower it back down. Exhale, lift, pushing up out of that shoulder, out of that side waist. So really think of a nice rainbow here, contracting those obliques, the internal, external oblique on the left side, and lengthening them on the right side. Let's go for another 3. Last 2. Last 1. Lift, 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 lift. Lower back down. Okay, coming down onto our mat. Coming into our side glutes. Rest your head on your arm. Extend your body long. Push that top hip away, creating little space for ants to run underneath the waist and the mat. Okay. Body long, hips square. Lift and lower. This doesn't have to be a very big movement. You're not lifting your leg all the way up, opening up the hips, coming into external rotation. You're keeping that knee pointed forwards. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Glue the thighs together, and then we're coming into our double leg lift. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower both legs. So we're keeping those thighs glued together, working the inner thighs as well as the outer thighs. Keeping that belly button to spine, stabilizing us. Let's go for another 2. Let's go for 1 more. Perfect. Okay. We're going to finish off class now with some glutes. So come down onto your back. It's going to be some gentle glutes. Roll down onto your back. Bring your heels in towards your glutes. Hands down by your sides. And we're going to lift up into our shoulder bridge. Lower back down. So exhale, lift up. You're keeping the hips square and level. You're drawing the ribs down towards your hips so that you're creating that core connection, belly button to spine. You're not lifting up all the way, flaring in the ribs. You're keeping that rib to hip connection. Keeping that stability. The obliques are stabilizing. Pressing through those heels. Feel this in the glutes, in the hamstrings. Exhale, lift. Slight tuck under of the pelvis. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift it up, hold here, lengthening through the thighs. We're going to articulate through our foot. So we're going to articulate through the right foot, lifting up the heel, then lifting up to our toes. And if you can slightly lift the toes off the mat. Make sure the hips are staying square though. If you need to put your hands on your hips to check if they're square, you can do that. And then we'll alternate the sides. Lifting up, lowering down, articulating through the foot. Keep your hands on your hips for that tactile reference. Make sure you're not rocking. Remember that core connection is really going to help stabilize you. Okay, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Keeping up in that glute bridge. So don't lower those hips. Keep those hips up. Keeping the glutes in that isometric hold. Okay. Let's go for another 3. Last 2, core's working hard to stabilize. Last 1, lower down, lower the hips down, hug the knees in towards the chest. Coming into a nice stretch. Take that left leg over the right, hug the right knee in. Feeling a nice stretch in the left glute. Bring it in. And then we're going to take the left leg over the right. Take your hands out to the side. And we're going to drop the foot down and then twist to the right and then up to the left. Should feel really good on your spine. Bring it back to center. Take the right leg over the left, hugging the knee in towards the chest. The closer you bring it, the more of a stretch you'll feel. Then we're going to cross the right leg over the left. Bring the left foot down. And then drop the knees to the right hand side. Looking to the left. And then take it up and over to the right side. Looking to the right. Come back to center. Unravel. Come onto your side. And then lift back up to seated. We're going to come to seated in the middle of our mat. Take your right arm up and over into lateral flexion. And then your left arm up and over. coming back to center. That's it for today's class, guys. I really hope that you have enjoyed this one, this beginner's Pilates. And if you have, please give this video a like. Comment down below if you would like to see more videos like this. Let me know how you did. Subscribe down below. It really supports my channel and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.